Good morning, class. Welcome to Saint Peter School. So this is our fifth class, and this is your science class. In previous class, we studied about what are the types of plants. That there are some plants which are very, unusual. There is no use of those plants because they don't perform photosynthesis, and we don't have any commercial other than commercial use. Those plants are not productive, those plants don't give us food and oxygen, so those plants are considered as a unusual plants. So in last class we discussed about those plants. Now today we are going to cover another topic, that is how energy flows in the living things. So now before starting the class, I would request all the students, please take out your books and keep in front of you. Okay, so before watching this video, take out page number 152. Okay, very nice. So now first of all, read out the first line written in a pink color box, that most insectivorous plants are colorful and produce more nectar to attract insects. Okay, so we already discussed this point in the last class also, that there are some insectivorous plants have a characteristics like they have very colorful flower, they have very attractive petals flower, so that insects get attract to those flower, and in this way insectivorous plants survive because they are dependent on the nutrition of those insects, right? Though there are some insectivorous plants perform photosynthesis also, but then also for extra nutrition, what they do, they try to trap the insects in their petals. And why the insects got trapped in the petals? Because the petals of the insectivorous plants have a mucus on their layer. Mucus is a sticky substance that is present on the petals or on the layer of the plant. So when the insect try to sit on that, they easily trap, they get stick to that plant, and they can easily trap those insects for their nutrition. So that is why it's written here that insectivorous plants are colorful and produce more nectar to attract insects. Nectar is nothing but the same thing whatever I told you, that is mucus. Okay. Now, how energy flows in a living things, the very important topic which we need to understand, that what is the flow of energy occurs in our on this earth. Okay, so on the basis of their eating habits, it has been observed that there is a particular source that is a particular flow of energy always continuous goes on the earth. So we will start with our it is supply of energy source, that is sun. You will see here, we will start from here. Why from here? Because sun is a resource of energy. It is the main source of energy for everybody, for us, for plants, right? So on the sun is the main source of energy on the earth. Plants trap sunlight and prepare food. We are studying from the last class that plants require sunlight for preparing their food. We have also discussed some experiment over it, that the sunlight is very important for photosynthesis. So plant is totally dependent on sunlight for their food. We all have seen in the last class. Now the herbivores like deer. Okay, herbivorous animals are those animals which are totally dependent on the plants for their food. Okay, so we have discussed all these terms, what is herbivorous, what is carnivorous and omnivorous, and we are studying it from the childhood days, that what is herbivorous, what is omnivorous and what is carnivorous. So all the herbivorous animals are totally dependent on the plants for their food. I am only talking about those herbivorous animals, the animal who only eat plants. Okay, so these animals totally dependent on the plants for their food. For example, which animals comes under this? Deer, sheep, cows, goat, etc. Right? So they feed on plants and use this energy. Now these plant eating animals are eaten by carnivores like lion, cheetah, snakes, etc. So these small animals are eaten by the big animals, even the carnivorous animals also, which are small in size. not only herbivorous but carnivorous animals also eaten by the big animals. But though we are we are setting here one chain, so we are not considering here carnivorous. We are right now we are making one chain, so we are not considering here carnivorous animal. We will look up to only herbivorous animal. So sun plant is dependent upon sun, and herbivorous animal like deer, rabbit, goat, sheep, these are dependent on this plant totally. Okay, after that big animals totally dependent on small animals, that is carnivorous animals. Okay, so and carnivorous animals. So up to this, what we are looking here, that everyone is dependent on each other, and these plant. Okay, so energy flows from the sun to the plants, from plants to the herbivorous, and from herbivorous to carnivorous, and this is only called the food chain. Okay, this is only called the food chain. What is this known as? This is known as the food chain. So how you will describe that? On our earth, every nature is dependent, every creature is dependent on each other. For example, sun, plant is dependent on sun, while herbivorous animals are dependent on plant, while big animals like tiger, lion, or the carnivorous animals are dependent on herbivorous animals. So what they are doing, they are making the chain. Okay, the chain ends here, it again will goes to the sun only. Okay, so you can do like this, and it will chain, after some time what happens, big animals dies, and it dies, and the chain stop here only. So we can say that there is and it mix up into the soil, and sunlight decay those animals. So a chain is ended here. Okay, so this is called food chain. What is this called? This is called food chain. Okay, this is very important. What is this called? This is called food chain. So sun energy flows from here, goes here, then goes here, and then it mixes into the land, and again it ended here. So that's why it's making a chain, and that this is known as the food chain. Okay, so now you will come to the page number 153. You will see that there is another topic is written, interdependence. Now what is interdependence? Okay, so the term itself means that there is something dependent on each other, right? Interdependence means like something which is totally dependent on each other. So on the basis of we can say need, it's not only about the food habit. We can say on the basis of need and as well as the food habit, there is two creatures which is totally interdependent on each other. Okay, this is a very basic requirement. Not only food, this is a very basic requirement to survive also. There is two creatures on the earth which is totally interdependent on each other, that is plants and animals. Okay, animals include us also, includes human beings also. So plants and animals are interdependent on each other. Now read the lines given on your book. Plant and animals depend on each other. Okay, plants give food and oxygen to animals, while animals give out carbon dioxide for the plants to prepare food. We studying it from our childhood days only, that what plants do. Plants gives oxygen to us, and we exhale carbon dioxide, and plants use those carbon dioxide for preparing their own food. So what we are looking here, animals or we human beings exhale CO2, and CO2 plant absorb those CO2, and again they release O2 after the photosynthesis process, and those O2 is taken by us or the animals. So this is only known as the interdependence. Interdependence is nothing totally dependent on each other for the requirement is known as the interdependence. Okay. So and the last topic is here, written here, a fine balance. There should be a balance in the number of plants, herbivorous and carnivorous in nature. If the number of plants decreases, the oxygen levels in the air also decreases. If there are too many plants, the animals may not be able to supply enough carbon dioxide for the plants. We must protect both plants and animals to maintain nature. Okay, so as we understood that we are totally interdependent on each other. None of them are like of the less value, we can say. So Plants is also very important for our earth, and animals are very also important for our earth. So there should be always balance between them, then only the nature can survive, right? If there is a increase in the number of animals, they will release lots of carbon dioxide, and there is a less of plant, then who will like absorb that carbon dioxide? We only have to absorb that carbon dioxide, and it is harmful for us. And if plant is more and animal is less, they will like from the where they will get then carbon dioxide if there is a less number of animals. So this is called interdependence also, and this is very important to make a fine balance on the earth. Okay, so today we are finished with this chapter, I think. And okay, so plants of the region are called flora, while animals are called fauna. So study where we study about plants is known as flora, and animals is known as fauna. Okay, so we are done with this chapter. We will discuss about some points given on the page number 154 in the next class, and we will like move with the exercise also in the next class. Till the time, what you will keep revising all the notes, all the points we discuss in this chapter. So we will meet in the next class. Thank you. Bye bye.